And after figuring out the technological advanced goodies that we have to run this show, we are ready to roll. Let's see what will happen here. Thijs will be going quite wide to swarm, so those two golden demises that Pepijn has in his deck are going to be really important. Summer, thank you very much for the host. I didn't know you had a channel of yourself. Kind of freaks me out. I didn't know where the sound was coming from. Oh, we also have a single extra golden demise in the sideboard there, so pretty important. Thijs versus Pepijn, another cracking match. Yes, correctly assessed there. Last time you played against Pepijn, you barely beat him with my Boros Dinos. Okay. So, let's see what we will have. Opening hands have been drawn. Technically, yes, everybody with an account has a channel. Okay, opening sevens. And it looks like both players kept 7, so we should have a nice and dynamic and developing match on our hands. Pepijn showing some nice lands, and Dusk Legion Zealot. Oh, typing in the wrong window. Dusk Legion Zealot. Adanto Vanguard on the other side. Oh. And Pepijn attacking for 4? No, attacking for 1. Thijs choosing not to block there. Gifted Etherborn for Pepijn. So putting on quite a bit of pressure. Pepijn is playing Grixis actually. So there's a little bit of blue hiding in the deck as well. Fairgrounds Warden takes out the Gifted Etherborn so that Thijs can put some pressure on Pepijn. Yeah, the Grixis control decks are something that kind of fell to the wayside, but I think they're still very well set up for the meta game at this point. There's a lot of different iterations you can do. You can go Trial Cartouche, you can go improvise with Incendiary Sabotage, or you can go straight up good card control, which is what this deck looks like here. This coming in and Pepijn forcing the activation before he uses a moment of craving to take it out. So getting free damage. 3 free damage on his opponent there. As we have a Legion Conquistador getting some bodies from the library. While Thijs is searching, Pepijn cycles a Black Desert. Ooh, he drew Chandra and has the mana to cast her. So yeah, Chandra, Torch of Defiance, hits the battlefield. Yeah, a very nice play by Pepijn there to get the 4 free damage. 4 free damage. That's a horrible thing to say. 4 free. And now Chandra takes out the Fairground Warden, returns the Gifted Etherborn, and now he has a Gifted Etherborn and the Chandra on the table. 4 free. Oh, we should so clip it and have that be one of the things for this channel. 4 free. Okay. So Pepijn in a rather solid position. Thijs has quite a stream of tutus coming in and had an impeccable timing to take care of the gifted Etherborn. Follows that up with a Gustwalker. So is threatening to get rid of that Chandra here. After game 1 of this match, you're coming over to the outpost. Sure, come on over. There's it's nice and cozy here with our 63 players. Okay. Thijs throwing his trio of conquistadores. Crowded and busy? Yeah, that too. I mean, what's 70 people in a hall? Come on. It's nothing. Nothing. Pluses Chandra finds a Doomfall and plays Self-Assembler. So Legion Conquistador getting outclassed by the Self-Assembler train. The big difference is that Self-Assembler only goes to find 1 each time it is played. You guess it's nothing compared to a GP. That's true, that's true. Okay, Gustwalker gets exerted, comes in. I'm so used to seeing that little lid of the dice box on top of Gustwalker from Thijs. Also reminds me on why I don't like Embalm and Exert and stuff like that. Anything that one of the sensible things to do is to slide out cards out of sleeves. Ooh, Aviary Mechanic. Aviary Mechanic. So we have Okitra's Monument. That's what this deck is built around. So whenever Thijs now plays a white creature, no, any creature, he gets a token. And that Aviary Mechanic, so read Okitra's Monument first, and then we'll take a look at Aviary Mechanic. That returns another creature, another permanent you control to their owner's hand. If you have 2 of these and a lot of white mana, you can make a lot of 1/1 warrior tokens with that Okitra's Monument. Painful lesson for Pepijn. Draws up a little bit. Can also be used in a pinch to finish someone off who's at 2 or 1 life, of course. And we get an Abrade to get rid of the monument. So Pepijn, pretty well equipped to deal with this deck, it seems. Has the Abrade for Monuments main deck, Golden Demises, and creatures that outclass a lot of what Thijs can bring to the table in that gifted Etherborn and the Self-Assembler chain. Thijs does have the capability to go wider and has those Shefet Dunes in play at this point, which can prove to be quite problematic. It is punching through some extra damage and now reloading the board. Set up really well to activate Shefet Dunes next turns for the win, unless there is a Golden Demise from Pepijn here. He drew the Chupacabra, chooses to go for the painful lesson. So digging for that Golden Demise here. Yeah, still digging. Don't think he got it. But there. Did he already play a land here? Yeah, just making sure the mana is correct. That's a pretty big blow to Pepijn here, since he now does not have the mana to play that Chupacabra. And now Thijs doesn't even need the Shift Dunes. Thijs flicking that Shift Dunes to showcase that this game is over. A few things will get exerted as well, I suppose. Oof, but instead it's a Dawn Feather Eagle giving +1/+1 and Vigilance. So game 1 going to Thijs, showing very well what this deck is capable of, and putting a lot of pressure on really quickly, and then having an Anthem effect to finish off by pumping the team. Let's see sideboarding what we have. Also, welcome to all the new viewers. It's okay if you're a little bit shy and you don't want to participate in the chat. So let's see what we have in the sideboard. For Thijs, we have Money White Monument in his sideboard. He has 1 Cleansing Ray, 4 Fragmentize, 2 Revoke Privileges, 2 Impeccable Timing, 3 Anointer Priest, and 3 Paladin of the Bloodstain. So from what I've seen at this point, I expect him to bring in the Cleansing Ray and probably Impeccable Timings, just to deal with those Gifted Etherborns, because they're really annoying. I don't think he needs Anointer Priest or Paladin of the Bloodstained, and Revoke Privileges seems overkill to me, but I wouldn't fault him for bringing it in. Pepijn has 2 Blazing Volley, 1 Cartouche of Ambition, 3 Duress, 2 Final Reward, 2 Forsake the Worldly, 1 Golden Demise, 1 Magma Spray, 2 Moment of Craving, and 1 Painful Lesson. So he has a lot of extra removal and artifact removal to bring in. I do wonder how he's gonna find the room for all of that. It looks like the most obvious things to take out are his Dusk Legion Zealots and the Painful Lessons, to make sure that every card he draws interacts on board. So apparently the judge call we just had was whether or not you're allowed to see the notes that your opponent has for their sideboarding plan. We already saw Thijs boarding out those Adanto Vanguards and the Fanbearer. Adanto Vanguards not so good against black decks, which will most likely feature the full set of Moment's Cravings. I think that's one of the 2 Revoke Privileges has come in. So Pepijn, we see quite well prepared, has his sideboard plans ready, brought a little booklet. And we're shuffling up for game 2 here after Thijs took game 1 in very commanding fashion, even though it looks like Pepijn has all the tools available to him to beat this kind of strategy. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this go to a 2-1-1 after this one. Very meticulous players here. Thijs going back to his sideboard again, just to reconsider some of his choices. Takes out fan bearer, I see. Nope, reconsiders. Nah, the original plan was okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. There's birds in the outpost. Yeah, wow. I'm going crazy. Yeah, gotta keep busy somehow in between rounds. I wish I had my secondary camera angle, but unfortunately that functionality is broken. I have it at home, not in the outpost. So Thijs reconsidering after all. I think that's 3 minutes now. It's about time to get started with game 2. Come on. Wow. This is taking so long. Ah, game 2 still hasn't started. Interesting. Okay, that just took too long. I'm gonna have a chat with the judges there. Okay, thank God there's no mulliganing at this match then. And we're off for game 2. Dusk Legion Zealot for Pepijn, and now they're playing extra fast. Aviar Mechanic for Thijs. We already see the monument and a second Aviar Mechanic hiding in his hand. So unless Pepijn has the answers ready, passes the turn? That's interesting. I don't... Maybe he's playing around a quicker braid, but now the magma spray takes out the Aviar Mechanic, exiled, even though that's completely irrelevant to Thijs. Dead is dead. looks like Thijs is saving up for a white burst. Very curious about why he doesn't even play the Snubhorn Gentry. Oh, but now he has a second monument. Yeah, abrades the monument away, but because it's a cast trigger, Thijs is still getting that first token. I would have played a 2-drop first though, so that he could follow up with the Gentry. Dusk Legion Zealot number 3. So that's 5 out of 6 players on coverage so far have played Dusk Legion Zealot. I think this card is played even more than Thraben Inspector was last year, which says something. Okay, monument number 2. And Glorybound Elite in response, forsake the worldly. Exiling the monument. So Pepijn maxing out on all his ways to get rid of a monument for his opponent. And even though Pepijn has managed to get rid of a lot of things, Thijs has quite a commanding position. Oh, but Pepijn is holding a golden demise. Has 9 permanents though. And is looking to bait out even more creatures from Thijs. It looks like Thijs will probably think that he's in the clear after this, since most players would have pulled the trigger on Moment of Craving, on Golden Demise, but we have Moment of Craving here. Moment of Craving, and then a bunch of blocks. Supernatural Stamina. Tries to get rid of the Snubhorn Gentry, but a cast out prevents that. So a very strong back and forth between these two players here. Pepijn thinking that he had a way to Moment of Craving his own Zealot to get it back with Supernatural Stamina, but that is not there. Gust Walker is there as a follow-up, but that then gets Moments Cravinged. Now Thijs has the Snubby to get there. Go Snubby! Snubby power! Aviary Mechanic gets back the cast out. That means Pepijn gets a Dusk Legion Zealot trigger. Thijs figuring out can be worse than having his cast out back, because he's not that afraid of the Dusk Legion Zealot itself. Snubby! Such a cool card. Ooh. Thijs punches in there. It's 2 damage. That's a 2-turn clock. And chooses not to play the Okitros Monument he has in his hand. Can't get value out of it. And still has the Okitros Monument here. Golden Demise now. Just to get rid of a Aviary Mechanic. Desperation mode for Pepijn. Adds in a Blazing Volley to also get rid of the Snubby. The Snubhorn Sentry, as Thijs has started the true and tried method of drawing lands once you need pressure. Cycle the cast out for that even, and now the Glory Bringer hits the table. Very unfortunate for Thijs here. Dawnfeather Eagle is the next, but we're getting Okitros Monument first, followed up with the Dawnfeather Eagle to create at least some semblance of pressure. Now Pepijn is firmly in control, exerts the Glory Bringer to get rid of the Dawnfeather Eagle, and then casts Forsake the Worldly to get rid of a third Okitros Monument here. So managing to completely stabilize that cycling of cast out, looking like it will be costing Thijs dearly. A Braid, getting rid of 1 token that got Shifa Duned. Thijs in desperation mode to punch through little bits of damage here. Draws another cast out to get rid of the Glory Bringer, and has a Snubby as a follow-up. So both players somewhat in top deck mode here. Kapow! Anointer Priest comes in, and again we have Golden Demise plus Blazing Volley to sweep the board here for Pepijn. Anointer Priests gets embalmed. So Thijs keeping creatures on the board to put pressure on that precious life total. Ravenous Chupacabra eats the pressure, and we have a Fan Bearer to fight back. That only takes 10 turns to get lethal through that Chupacabra. We have Rekindling Phoenix for Pepijn, and now it's desperation mode for Thijs. Thijs does have the tapper, so he can control the Phoenix. The Phoenix dies to another Golden Demise. The Fan Bearer dies to another Golden Demise. Thijs just checking that there is a blessing in fact, so that the Chupacabra survives, and this is do or die. Knock knock, who's there? Armageddon. I guess that means that Hell Doodle has finished his round. Armageddon who? Armageddon all. Okay, Rick. In the meantime, we have a match to finish as well. We had a chump block, and we have a 1-1. Yeah, Thijs scoops him up. It's now 1-1. We have 17 minutes left on the clock. I'll be very curious to see if our players take another 5 minutes for their sideboarding choices and shuffling. Why does John Avon suck at Magic? He only draws lands. I already knew that one. Okay. So players are going back to their sideboards. Pepijn might want to reconsider after seeing that the Adanto Vanguards are gone. Didn't see what he took there, nor what Thijs grabbed. Both players seem to be digging for stuff. And again, we wait. See you soon, Summer. Okay, in chat, a squire, a dark confidant, and a noble hierarch walk into a bar. They all go up to order a drink when suddenly the confidant and the hierarch drop dead. The squire panics and yells to the bartender, "What the hell just happened?" The bartender looks down and says, what'd you expect? This is a -1/-1 card. That's actually a good one. For once, squire is a good card. Okay, we're already shuffling, but now it's Pepijn who is reconsidering what his sideboard will be. No, he's also shuffling. Okay, we might actually get a third game started in the 14 minutes and 34 seconds that are left. Exciting. I still have so many buttons I need to use. Yes, I do. It's nice. It's nice to have somebody have your back. Yes, thank you. Thank you. This isn't weird at all, is it? From chat, how do you make a small fortune at Magic the Gathering? Don't start? I don't know. How do you make a small fortune? You start with a large fortune. Okay, you get the laugh track. This is coverage of a Magic match. Usually people move these cards around in ways where you can actually see the front of the cards. There sometimes is also a strategy involved rather than shaking them a little bit. Yeah, wow, it sounds like something interesting to watch rather than people shuffling. Okay, let's just hope we don't have to mulligan. Oh no, it's a one land hand for days. Just keep it. Just keep it, you have Legion's Landing. It's gonna be awesome. He does keep it, wow, okay. I don't think I would have kept that. Too many bad experience with one land handers. It's become a sort of a mantra. And of course, he draws the land as the first card he draws for the turn. And here comes the lifelink tokens. 2 turns, 2 rares for Thijs. Ooh, one common to fix most of the issue. Blazing volley pulling its weight there. Anointer priest for Thijs, not that impressive. Now stuck on those 2 lands, but draws a 3rd one. Can rebuild his hand with a Legion Conquistador. So let's see how Pepijn gets back from this. In the meantime, he's cracking his Evolving Wild, so helping us get through. And we see a Plains? What? Okay, we see a Plains. Why is there a Plains? Oh yeah, for the Forsake the Worldly we saw Plains. Well, Forsake the Worldly is the only white card in his deck. Crazy. Just Eddie, get over here. He's playing white just for Forsake the Worldly. Yeah, I know, right? He's also holding a Chandra. So that could come in here to take out the Conquistador. But would that be interesting enough? Goes down to 1 loyalty, right? Or does it go to 2 loyalty when you use it as a removal? It goes down to 1. So this is actually just... I know, he could... Yeah, he pluses it. Okay. Gets a desert for 2 damage. Not sure what he wanted of that. From the chat, so my opponent said I will cast the spell. I asked him which spell. Now he won't talk to me. So it's like the joke where you go, I want you to discard. What, this card? No, that card. Which card? Okay. Okay, Transmonument. For Thijs, so setting up for an explosive next turn. We know he has a family of Conquistadors in his hand. And is using the Chandra. Well, Pepijn is using the Chandra as a damage source here. Now has Ravenous Chupacabra. To take out the Anointer Priest. Getting rid of stuff that doesn't die to Golden Demise. Ooh, we see Angel of Invention in his hand. We get a Fairgrounds Warden. Takes a Chupacabra. It's just interesting because this kind of sets Pepijn up for a lot of problematic attack steps. Thijs gets the blessing, attacks Chandra with the Conquistador. Yeah, Golden Demise. Just on time to stabilize the board. And we get a Magma Spray. To make sure and then activates Chandra for an extra Magma Spray on the top of the deck. Quite unfortunately there. Could have kept the extra one in hand. It's the loneliest Legion's landing that I've ever seen. Legion Conquistador and Gustwalker are the rebuild duty. That's 1, 2, 3 mana for yes. That is 6 power of creatures spread over 4 permanents. And immediately Pepijn will need to find another golden demise if he wants to stabilize this. Yep, already has it, no problem there. Empty board again. Chandra still alive. Has been doing most of the damage in this match so far. Ooh. Thijs really hurting for lands at this point. We get Legion Conquistador again. Oh, that's the other one. Legion Conquistador. Which gets met by a moment of craving. Oops, revealing stuff. I think that's an abrade there. Braid takes out the monument. Today's jokes are sponsored by the two ducks flying at the wall. When one says "watch out," the other one said "quack." Okay, Thijs trying to keep on the pressure. 5 minutes left in the round. Cast out. Finally, Thijs has the mana to cast it out. Pun intended. I'm so funny. I know. Okay, Dusk Legion Zealot. For Pepijn and a Self-Assembler. Self-Assembler is my favorite card because I get to type Self-Ass into Gatherer and then it pops up. Self-Ass. And then Evolving Wilds. So, Pepijn in control right now, but of course Thijs still has that Angel of Invention in his hand that can prove quite the comeback engine. Legion Conquistador and Fanbearer are the answers for Thijs. So given enough mana, he has the answer to both of these creatures. But he doesn't really have an answer to the Self-Assembler train. It looks so slow and dirtly, but if you manage to survive all the way into the late game, it's more than enough to force deeper. Don't type self-ass into Google image search. Yeah, it's safe enough for Gatherer. I wouldn't do that in Google. Well, let's see if Thijs can actually dig himself out of that. We have 3.5 minutes left. And there we have the Angel of Invention. Pocket Army for Thijs boosts all the rest, but that Self-Assembler on the other side is still quite a problem. Thijs has an avenue of attack in the air now. And is starting to swarm around. There's also again that Shifa Dunes on the table. Ready to pump. Oh, and a braid on the Angel of Invention makes the attempted trade with the tokens very awkward. Suddenly the momentum has completely switched back to Pepijn as Thijs is reduced to trying to tap out things. Moment of craving, takes care of Fanbearer. Pepijn chooses not to play another self-assembler here. Aviary Mechanic for Thijs resets his Legion's Landing. Still the most lonely Legion's Landing ever seen, as that self-assembler keeps crashing in. Thijs again going to attempt to go for the double block, and again we have the trick Moment of Craving to make that a losing proposition for Thijs. Thijs hanging on for dear life. Oh, it's a bloodstained paladin, a pocket army, paladin of the bloodstained, pocket army, barely enough to survive here. He again has the option to double block and try to get rid of the self-assembler. Instead he just trades. Wow, I would have did it the other way around, but goes down to 2, and we have a gifted Etherborn for Pepijn. Okay, Trust Monument for Thijs, and an extended hand. We have the handshake. Pepijn takes the match 2-1 here with a very interesting black-red control deck that's very lightly splashes for both blue and white apparently. We're going back to